Hey, what is up everybody? Blades here, and today for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're mainly going to be going over, is this game free to play? Now, I've done this video like a while ago in which a lot of people keep asking me the question if this game is actually free to play or if it's more of a pay to win type game. Well, as a TLDR, I could just straight up tell you no, this game is not pay to win. It is actually free to play. It is very, very free to play. And it is heavily incentivized. I want to say one of the better free-to-play games that I've played. So that's just for like a quick little statement for you guys who just really wanted just an answer. I'm not going to stall you guys on that, but for the people who want to actually know how this is free to play and actually have some things that I can back up and actually prove here, be sure to stick around for the rest of the video, and then much appreciated for you guys as well. But before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. As always, it does help me out quite a lot. And we're going to be doing a lot of things here. I know we're doing some Summary summons tomorrow, and depending on if a poll goes right, which I'm going to put up right after the video, y'all guys want me to do what's called viewer summons on KR and TW, we will actually do viewer summons, and that is like revolving. If I go ahead and go out, I do the pools, boom, we have at least a whole like list of people who are possibly pulling for her, and we see if you get lucky, get not. Get the character, get the weapon, cool, and then we jump on that. But anyways, I'll have more information on that afterwards, but let's go ahead and talk more about the video. Now, this game here itself is surprisingly very, very free to play. I expected it to be not as free to play as it is here, and I'm going to provide some ways of actually kind of, I guess, enlightening this a little bit more while we of course are like doing a little bit of just grinding in the background here. But for example, with this game here, when it comes down to summons and things like that, summons are very, very much so easy to get, if you want to put it that way here. We're actually credited a lot of summons, whether it's at the beginning of the game, middle of the game, or even at the end of the game. Because if we go ahead and think of like all the things that we do have per patch updates, of course, here, I think I do these videos all the time of like how many gems you can get in this patch. Every patch, normally you're getting around like 5k gems. Either I think 3k is the lowest that we've ever gotten right now, if I can think about it at the top of my head, but it's like 5k gems or more, in which, if you guys don't know exactly what that is, for people who haven't started the game or like you're just trying to figure out exactly how much that is here, every multi for a character banner is 1,500. Well, 3k being the lowest that we've ever gotten, it's already 2 multis, but 5k is kind of like the norm for us here, so we're getting around like 4 multis just at minimum per patch update, and that's just doing everything that you can do every day. You're getting yourself at minimum 5 multis. Each patch update isn't like in a month, right? We're talking about every 2 weeks you're getting like 5 multis minimum. There's nothing else that is crazy about that. That's actually insane that we can actually get that much, especially within the little time. So that means within a month you can get yourself around 10 multis here, pretty dang decent, which you only need to get 8. Oh, sorry, not 10 multis, holy crap. You get yourself around 10k, right? In which 10k can get you around like, let's say I think it's like 6 multis if I'm correct there, because if each one is 1,500, 3,000 is of course 2, 6,000 is 4, and then if you go ahead and add that up again, of course we'll be able to get ourselves at least 6 pulls. So 6 pools within at least month is really good, especially seeing that the pity count is at 80, so 8 multis itself, and that's if you have to go all the way to pity. And that's just the base amount of just patch updates. That's nothing crazy in the patch, right? No like story updates or anything. That's just for a regular patch update that we're usually getting that amount, which as a free-to-player, that's insanely valuable, because there's not going to be pulls, or at least things that you're always going to be pulling on, for example, right? And we're just talking about the character side of things, right? If you think about it that way, there's time to save. We usually have a skip banner, which is usually a standard banner, or the banner that's like really just not worth going on at all. Much like as if our last banner that we ended up having here was Howler. She is a standard character who's going to the actual standard character pool. So technically there's no reason to summon for her. So you would just pretty much just sit there, skip this banner, save for the whole 2 weeks that she's out, and that's like 5k gems right there. Then the next banner comes out, which of course you can go ahead and do if you want. You can use all your gems there, or either you could possibly skip that one, because sometimes there's other things you want to save for in the future. and you can decide if you want to go ahead and skip and invest later. You will have a ton of pulls regarding this, and this is just based on no story update type deals, no heavy what's it called, no heavy events. Like for example, for us, what we have right now, the only story update is this one, and this alone gave us a multi just by doing this here. And of course, in the story update, there's tons and tons of content inside of the palace. You get tons of gems from that. Usually with this happening, you have like a ton of other events, which we had a ton more events with this when it first came out. And then of course, we still have that out with these events here, which this event here was something small, and we still got 1,100 pulls, nearly a whole multi, which is 1,500. Already that's actually very solid as a free-to-play game for a lot of free players. But what makes this game even more so free to play here is because we have actually more than just 2 banners here that are actually optional to do, but one of them is way nicer if you just want to get the character, right? So of course you have the standard 50-50, which is just get there, you have a chance of getting the character, you have a chance of getting a different character who is not the one on the like screen right now. So let's act like she's the, of course she's the rate up character, right? Well, you still have a chance to get a different 5-star that's not rate up, which is losing your pity technically, but after you lose that pity, you're on guaranteed. No matter what, the next 5-star you get is guaranteed. If you win it and you get Howler, for example, well, you're still on 50-50 again until you lose that 50-50. That's the normal. Well, for at least the banner here, or at least this game, we also have a secondary banner. This secondary banner, I would advise free-to-plays to utilize a lot more, especially if it's a character that they truly want and they don't believe in their 50-50 luck. Although the 50-50 does have a higher have a higher rate, or at least the 5-stars to get them earlier, this one here, no matter what, there is no 50-50. This is a guaranteed banner, meaning after you do 110 pulls, you get this character. No like exceptions, none of that. You do get the character. So you only have to hit 110 or get it earlier than that, and there you go, you got the character. Doesn't matter what the 5-star is, it is going to be that character right there. Another incentive about this is because if you go a second, let's say you went the 110, right, and you want A1, which is one more dupe of the character, well, you would just go ahead and do 5 more pulls. You get yourself a random 5-star out of here, and then you can eventually go ahead and pull this character again. So not only are you getting A1 for a character that you want, but then you're able to also get a free 5-star out of this as a compensation as well for going that far, which is really helpful, unlike most other games. So automatically this makes this better because you get the option of choosing whether you want to risk it, or either you want to just go ahead and get the reward that you want, which is really helpful. Another thing here, when it comes down to weapons, a lot of the weaponry, especially in this game, is not a mandatory thing. Yes, you heard me right. A lot of the weapons in this game are not mandatory. You can use their 4-star weapons, and they're pretty darn good 4-star weapons as well. There's not many characters that must have their 5-star weapons. Let's take, for example, the strongest single target DPS, not counting of course Kazumi or Sumire, not counting her. The strongest single target DPS out to date, which is Makoto. I didn't have her gloves for ages, right? Her gloves were very much so needed for a lot of people, including myself here, in which I didn't have these. Let me find them. I wish I could find them right now. There they are. I didn't have these gloves for ages. Absolutely insane gloves. They make actually Makoto hit like a goddamn truck, and boy oh boy, I didn't have these. I was just rocking with the 4-star, and she was still hitting like a truck. There's just a lot of characters that when you check out their 4-stars and their 5-stars, yes, their 5-stars are going to be a little bit better, but there's options that their 4-stars are actually just as good, if not a little bit underwhelming, but they're not like heavily underwhelming. For example, even with Morgana here, his 5-star weapon, I did have it, but I got rid of it because the 4-star event weapon that you actually get is actually pretty darn decent as well, like very close to being as helpful as its 5-star. So I just decided, we don't really need it anymore. Go ahead and use the 4-star instead. So there's a lot of options where you don't have to pull for certain things, especially as a free to play, and that just helps you save a lot of currency. Now, another way that this game is heavily free to play here is based on the things that we have to do. First of all, with everything that you have to do in this game that gives you currency, it is a lot, right? We have Guild Boss. Guild Boss lasts for 2 whole weeks here, in which in total you get yourself around, I think it was like 640 gems just by doing this once here. if you can hit those milestones easily. Boom, get yourself gems from that. If you go ahead and do SOS, which is one of the ranking modes, you don't even have to be top of the top, right? I'm up here at the low ranking, or at least at the top of the actual gauge part here, right? So in the 8th star, highest that you can get. But if we go ahead and look at least the amount, we get 250 no matter where you're ranked. Top 1%, 250. Everyone in 50%, 250. If we go down a few stars, the highest a free to play has to get here is pretty much the same area. You just need to make it to 7th star. And for 7th star, you get kind of something similar, which is the same thing as this pretty much. And as you can see, actually, you can see it right here as well. You also will get these little milestone rewards for one whole time. Like the first time you reach it, you'll get these milestone rewards, which give you more stuff as well. But by staying in these stars, I think the highest like a free to play really has to get is like 6 or 7 star, and which is very doable. A lot of people who are free to play are usually sitting between those two, and you get pretty much the same rewards as people in the 8th star. So you do get gems that way. You don't have to be the best of the best to get the max amount of gems. That is just a thing that you have. Then we have, of course, the actual first thing, which is challenge battle or velvet room challenge. These here, they give you a ton of things of just gems in general. Yes, they are one-time use, but they give you a ton of gems here. So if we go ahead and go up stars, each stage of a velvet trial has 3 stars. So if we go up all of these here, we can get ourselves a ton of gems, eventually getting to 73 or 75 stars. And that is for each and every one of these actual challenge battles. So all of these challenge battles will have around 75 stars that you need to get up. And that is a ton of currency, including the regular challenge battles, which I haven't even completed. I did get all the gem sides. I'm really just getting these just have later on, but you get a ton of gems from these, other goodies from these. So that's just a lot of gems that you will have as a free-to-play player. This stuff is actually very common, especially in this game, and they're considerably still adding on to this game here. Even when it comes down to at least the palaces. I talked about this briefly for a second. Palaces are not like the OG palaces where they're small and they don't have much here. Every last one of these palaces have a ton of gems, being the chest, ton of little bosses that you can fight that gives you gems, tons of things that you just have to actually look around. To give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek of some of the palaces here, they start off a little small, but not ultra small, and they gradually get bigger. So as you can see, we're looking at this at first, and it's looking like, okay, that's pretty big. That's pretty big. And you're slowly going through and you're like, okay, they're getting huge. These actual places are starting to get huge. And then you start looking at things like this, right? And then the palaces just get even bigger, which for this one, for example, you only see these 4 rooms, same as this where you just see the circle. But if you go out those doors, they have massive mazes of just stuff where you would end up collecting, going through here and getting tons of chests and gems. So this game has plentiful of ways of giving you tons of gems here, including even the wannabe star rail kind of mode, which gives you, yes, it is a one-time deal where you get all these rewards in here, but you do get gems and stuff like that as well out of this, which are really, really helpful, especially if you're completing. Out of this game, I have to say, being free to play is definitely one of the things this thing actually excels at. You get many pools, you get tons of things that you can really do every day, and it doesn't really push the pay to win aspect to be in your face 24/7. Hey, even just by doing this little thing, your little activity points here, you can get up your confidants and earn actually currency from them as well. And there's things I'm leaving out, of course, being like the card game, but you have confidants that gives you little points here just by getting them up, little currency as well. You have things like the card game that actually gives you currency. You have, of course, things such as like My Palace that recently came out. That's going to give you things to actually exchange for to eventually get currency from as well. There's all different types of things in this game that makes it heck of free to play for a lot of folks. It's just you do have to do some work in order to do them. But I'm pretty sure that's not the problem, of course, if you want to be free to play in these games, because let's be honest, we want something, we'll try to get it done. But anyways, hopefully this solved a lot of you guys' questions. I've been having this question quite a lot, especially when it does come down to like any videos I make or the new people finding out the channel. This game is heavily free to play. It's heavily free to play. There are aspects of pay to win things in here, in which as a pay to winner, you can get some stuff that are really, really good for the low. And you don't really have to, I guess you say, stick your neck out there and utterly just like break your neck trying to get like the best of the best stuff if you wanted to play, or if you wanted to pay. So with all options, there you go, you guys. The game is heavily free to play. Whether you want to try it or not, be sure to give it this, at least give it a try. But I'll have a updated installment guide out very soon. But till next time, everybody, peace out.